Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions once again for the Almeida Racing League. Round 7 of the championship, or round 6, depending on which way you look at it, the truth or not. We're at Willow Springs in California for this round of the championship, and what a fantastic circuit we're coming to for this round. It is fast, it is flowing, there's going to be an awful lot of slipstream in these MX-5s. Hope you're looking forward to it as much as we are here on Pit Road Productions live on our channel and on Swellio Almeida's channel as well. Whichever chat you're in, sing out, let us know you're here. My name is Reese Gardner. Daniel Zippy Salmon is alongside me in the commentary box and also producing behind the scenes. Zippy, Willow Springs, a track that I don't think many people are familiar with outside of the sim racing world and the local California racing scene, but this is one of the most historic purpose-built racetracks in the United States. It's had the exact same layout since it opened in the early 1950s.
Well, I'm not even going to try and compete on racetrack history. Certainly, Reese Gardner is indeed the one only man for that, and I think he's just done a video on Cadwell Park as well, my actual home track as well. Got to take a look at that a little bit later. But certainly, Willow Springs, the biggest thing I know about that is that the track came for sale recently, and I believe Amelia Hartford and a bunch of her friends did indeed try to buy it. It was not successful. That's all I know. From what I understand, it did get sold, and apparently the people who bought it are not going to turn it into a housing development, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, very good. I will make a slight correction. The video that I sent you earlier today is not mine. I just thought you'd find it interesting.
Oh, well, thanks, Reese. There you go.
My most recent racetrack history video.
One.
Yes, actually I do. I'll cover all the British tracks. I recently did one on Silverstone. But we should keep our eyes on the prize, so to speak, and the prize is going to be the race win today. The schedule for this season is certainly one that we would like to see. We started things off at Charlotte Motor Speedway in March, then Summit Point, first endurance round of the season at Suzuka, then Okayama for round 4 on the 18th of April. Yes, I'm beginning to believe that I was indeed wrong. It is round 6 here at Willow Springs. We're at VIR last week, Alton Park next week, and going to Navarra, hopping across the English Channel to Spain for round 8 in the middle of May. It is an 11-round season, ending things off at Road Atlanta, Tsukuba, and the final endurance round of the season at Le Mans at the start of June. That's going to be a fun one for sure. The format for today, we have 15 minutes of qualifying. The drivers are in the middle of that at the moment, but we have 3 races as per usual for the standard round format of this series. 2 15-minute heats, the second one with a randomized invert, feature race of 20 minutes with the grid set by heat 2, no fast repairs, and a fixed setup. Keeping an eye on the event rules, it looks like it's going to be a top 8 invert once again, Zippy, which should certainly make things interesting for the championship standings. It's a bit of a smaller field today, so there's big opportunities for points.
Indeed there is. And taking a look here at the overall Academy standings, ladies and gentlemen, Julian Reese is currently leading in P1, Daniel Kincaid in second, just 3 points behind. Then it gets a little bit more of a gap, but not much. Juan Jan Miguel, he's there in third with Split One's very own Carl Diaz-Castro, indeed Chief Operating Officer of the Almeida Academy. This man can drive as well. He's currently in 4th overall with Otavio Suarez, the absolute dominator from round 1, there in P5 overall. But speaking of that, let's take a look here with Reese Gardner at Split One Premier.
Indeed, Split One Premier, of course, putting together both the Premier and Club drivers. Kyle Diaz-Castro on top. Those coaching sessions with Connor Bell are certainly paying off for him. Otavio Suarez, he dominated the first round of the season at Charlotte, had a bit of a dip in results in the interim, but he has come back with some fantastic results in the last couple of rounds, with Michael Hooper, Bas van der Lee, and Kevin Lau rounding out the overall top 5 for Split One. In the club class isolated, it is Carl Diaz-Castro still on top, Michael Hooper and Brian Jabelski, your top 3, with Kevin Adrian and Jeremy Childers not too far behind to round out the top 5. Only 4 points between Leon Bentvelsen and Rich Meesters. And considering that we only have Rich here today out of those 2, it's going to be a good opportunity for points. This should tell you the smaller size of the field today. Of course, the iRacing Nürburgring 24-hour is happening this weekend, and so many of the drivers who regularly drive in this series are otherwise occupied with that. But we do have a solid amount of drivers out there today, enough to provide us some fantastic racing, even in qualifying. They're all drafting together.
Oh yeah, certainly we've got Connor Bell here in the chat saying should be a good race today, draft track, and indeed it is. And certainly Rich Meese is looking to try and cash in on that. But right now, Kevin Adrian is leading the qualifying, and actually what's really comical, we have the majority of the field being made up by club class drivers. And keep in mind the club class also competes in the Premier class as well, but not vice versa. So this could be a golden opportunity here, as I believe this may be the start finish. Let's go on board here with Rich Meesters.
Indeed, historic Willow Springs in California, a fantastic circuit. Average speed's high around here. You start off with the first corner, which has a good amount of banking to it, and you carry a ton of speed through it, then blending right into turn 2. It's a never-ending right-hand bend again with some banking on it. It never seems to stop this corner, but you got to sense when to get on the power, because you need to get the best exit out possible for the slowest section of this track. Plenty of elevation change here at Willow Springs. They dive uphill into this S's section of the circuit, and whoop, car running wide up ahead of Rich there, but you need to keep your car to the right hand side there to just shorten the line, and then coming back down the hill again, just reaching the highest point of the circuit. This is a very satisfying turn to get right. You blend on the throttle and try to carry the speed over these humps and dips, and then onto the back stretch pretty much here of Willow Springs. Some meanders in it, but there's an awful lot of speed you can carry. They're staying flat out almost all the way through the entry to this corner, but out of nowhere, you got to be careful about it. Tightens up. It's a slight lift, maybe a tap of the brakes in the MX-5, and look out for that bollard there. That's the apex. For the final corner, Meesters gets an off track to end the lap. No curb to collect you on the exit of the final corner. That's the lap of Willow Springs.
Indeed, I think I definitely struggle with this track, Reese. It's so big, it's so wide, and it's so fast. I actually find it's quite hard to get really anything for a reference point. You're pretty much in the desert looking at this particular venue, and certainly I would find that incredibly difficult. But what I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I've just seen Academy royalty make his way into the session. Indeed, Kane Halliburton is going to potentially grace us with his presence on track today.
Indeed, one of our coaches here at the Almeida Racing Academy. He will not be taking part in qualifying. He'll be starting at the back, as the coaches so often do. Kevin Adrian is having a really good time in qualifying at the moment. 127.3 is the time to beat, but championship leader Kyle Diaz-Castro is only about 0.04 of a second behind him on the timesheet, so looking mighty close at the front.
Indeed, it is definitely good to see all of these drivers. Indeed, anybody who is watching at home, Kevin Adrian is indeed shirtless again, ladies and gentlemen. I have a feeling we may be getting a few viewers. Just like Kyle Diaz-Castro rocking the VR again, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it's quite interesting to see how eclectic these drivers are. Certainly VR, usually the more unpopular choice himself, and Rich Meesters partaking in that. And certainly Swallow as well. We've seen Swallow use both VR and indeed triples as well. Myself, I'm a triples guy myself. I think VR would be a little bit nauseating, especially for a guy who's really been struggling lately with motion sickness. But certainly Kyle Diaz-Castro has been able to make it work for him so far this season, leading both the Premier and the Club class.
Indeed, 1 minute 28.4 on that lap for Kyle. He was given the slipstream to everyone behind him, but I don't see many improvements on lap time here. No changes in the standings from those laps. Bas van der Lee has Kevin Adrian in front of him, and this looks like someone's taken a big off-track excursion there. Yep, that's Rich that somehow found the sand. It is definitely sand this far out into the desert in California. Some real blazing sunlight that you get at this place as well. So need to be careful of that if you don't want your view obstructed. This is a taste of the kind of racing that we can expect here. Lots of lines possible through that twistier section of the track. So looking forward to seeing what the drivers can pull off when they get into the race session. But everyone's hyper-focused here on getting those times down.
Indeed, I do have to wonder as well, with this being a little bit of a smaller grid, is this going to be a good opportunity here for Bas van der Lee to really try and find himself moving up into the point standings a bit more? Certainly, he's had a good couple of good form this season, but a rough couple of races. But we do have a couple of more drivers in here as well. This one not usually on the driver cam. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan Safarian, a younger lad, gracing us with his presence today.
Indeed, Safarian has been a competitor this season in Split 1, and he's put on some good drives, emblazoned with the Lightning McQueen paint scheme. Across the line, he'll come to start off another lap, and it hasn't. I think this is the first time that we've actually seen him on the cams. He's been trying to get second. Yeah, he'd been trying to get his camera working for our broadcasts for a number of weeks now. It's good to see that he's finally gotten it sorted. Looks like he's running a bit of an old school rim there, or wheel there. That looks like one of the belt-driven Thrustmasters that he's running.
There you go, Reese. Have a better look. Good call.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like that might be a T300. Yeah,
oh man,
really
he's focused.
Ahead.
He's really focused.
Yeah, smooth inputs though, which is what you need in this car. It's all about momentum, the Mazda MX-5. It's not the most powerful car in the world, as has been evidenced by pretty much every show we've done this season. But the other side of that is the slipstream is incredibly powerful in this thing, and Willow Springs is going to be a big demonstration of that. 3 minutes to go in qualifying, and Brian Jabelski is going to take point here in this little duo that we've got running here. Jabelski, currently last of the drivers that have set qualifying times, so he's looking for a little bit more pace here. He's actually not that far off the pace, to be completely honest with you. About 0.8 of a second, it looks like, separating the field in qualifying.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's not down to Sabowski himself. I think it's just realistically he's not been able to find a drafting opportunity during qualifying. And right now, he's got somebody right behind him who's really being able to capitalize on that onto his coattails, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I think it's going to be quite a... I don't know. I don't really know how to say this one, but is it going to be quite difficult to pass because the draft is so intense, or indeed is that going to make it even easier? But certainly, I have a feeling I want to be starting as far up the grid as humanly possible, and I think Sabowski's really going to pay the price for it throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, well, I think what's going to be most important is being able to stay with the pack, because these races don't require pit stops. There won't be any chance of getting an undercut on strategy or anything like that. So yeah, you're going to have to treat it pretty much like a NASCAR super speedway race. You stay with the pack, and if you get out of draft range, it's going to be very difficult to gain it back.
Well, speaking of draft range, this is certainly one of the drivers who's currently benefiting from that right now. Philip Falcon, the Canadian driver, he's currently in P6 overall and P2 in the Premier Class, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, he can see nothing but opportunity ahead of him. That's two drivers there. He's able to slipstream behind him, and look at the draft he's getting. That's Nathan Safarian just ahead, and indeed, he's had to lift off quite heavily there. You have to wonder as well, is there a perfect kind of staging to get the ultimate draft?
Oh, and the blind exit has resulted there from riding so close behind those two. That's going to be another off track there that's been collected for Philip Falcon. The exit of the final corner at Willow Springs is certainly not the easiest part of the track to nail. 1 minute to go and change in qualifying, so it looks like whatever lap these drivers are on will likely be their last, and I don't think we're going to see all of them get across the line to start another one. More and more drivers towing into pit lane. We've got 5 of them, now 4 out there at the moment. Bas Vanderlee has just towed back to pit lane. Looks like his session is done. Kevin Adrian, Rich Meesters, Philip Falcon, and Nathan Safarian are still out there, but I don't think that any of them are going to make it to the end of the lap.
Well, indeed, we're going to take this opportunity here to have a look at the Swallow Almeida merch, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while coming, but indeed, it is currently here, and I believe you can pre-order. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, you can get yourself a choice of 2 different t-shirts. Actually, yep, it is indeed still on pre-order. The vintage brand tee, which I've got to be honest, out of the 2, I would personally prefer that one. The Almeida emblem team. Go down a little bit further. You can get the snapback hats, ladies and gentlemen. Or indeed, if you want something for a little bit when it's a little bit more breezy, grab yourself that brand quarter zip as well. Certainly, we'd love to see you guys taking part in that as well. Not only that, take a look here at the gold membership, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the sale is now over. We did tell you should get involved quicker, and indeed now it's $50 a month. Indeed, you get a lot of value out of that as well. Right now, obviously, you've got the broadcast going on. You need to qualify in a top split to be part of that, but they've got the MX-5 Mastery course going on. They've got all sorts of training materials, and indeed, the only way to get involved, ladies and gentlemen, is indeed to sign up and be a member. Certainly try out the free membership before if you want to, but indeed the gold membership is where it's at.
Yes, for sure, and even at full price, it's some fantastic value. you get advice and instruction from some of the best in the business. It's time for the first race, and Kevin Adrian has qualified on pole position. Kyle Diaz-Castro will join him there. Club class top 4 rounded out by Brent Rosnell and Rich Meesters. The first of our Premier class drivers is Bas van der Lee. He's got Philip Falcon alongside him, and Jeremy Childers with Tuca Valkyasuo in 7th and 8th. Nathan Safarian and Otavio Suarez rounding out the top 10. Good to see Otavio's in here. Yan Cheek and Brian Jabelski are 11th and 12th. And then looks like Braden Walker did join the server, but I don't think he's in the right split. Kane Halliburton is going to be the last driver to take to the grid.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but indeed we are going to be getting ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a standing start here at Willow Springs.
Who gets the best run? Some technical issues for Kane Halliburton there at the back as they pull away. And this is going to be an interesting run into turn 1. Clean start from all of our drivers, immediately falling into single file, or as best they can. Looks like Kane hasn't gone anywhere on the start there. Joined the server late in qualifying and maybe doesn't have all of the technical stuff completely set up there for the race. But our front of the field already making their way out of turn 2. Kevin Adrian holding on from Kyle Diaz-Castro as the field is blanketed by less than 3 seconds here at the moment. Brent Rosnell having a good run of things here off the start. Started 3rd and remains there as he chases Adrian and Diaz-Castro up the hill. That's a little bit wide there for Kevin Adrian, but Kyle gets a little bit crossed up behind him, and we get a good view of the Panda on the side of his car there as he went wide. It was a little bit squirrely there for the 107.
Indeed, right now the 155 is going to be feeling all sorts of pressure here. He's got the older gentleman, that is indeed Rich Meesters, right behind Bas van der Lee there, looking to have a little bit of a sniff, a little bit of a look there. Philip Falcon currently there. He's glitching in and out, actually. He's having a couple of connection issues there, which can be a little bit terrifying there for Jeremy Childers. But so far, the only driver to actually gain any position so far is indeed Otavio Suarez. He's up 1 from the start.
Yes, looks like a bit of a gulf ahead of him, though. Tuca Valkyasuo now about half a second ahead of him, but half a second is also the gap that Kevin Adrian enjoys at the end of the first lap. That gap is going to vanish very quickly, though. Have a look at that. Adrian's trying to break the draft here, but Diaz-Castro is getting pushed along there by Brent Rosnell, and Rich Meesters is going to try and do the same thing on the way into turn 1. Well, I think that gives us a taste as to what we can expect from the racing here today. Can you keep the draft? Can you break it? Is it advisable to do so?
Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to work out how the best way to pass on this, because I have a feeling you go out the slipstream, you're going to basically lose a lot of momentum, and then you're actually going to help the guy behind you get a pass. In terms of race strategy, the usual rulebook, I have a feeling it's realistically out the window. This is not going to behave like a normal race. It's something I believe has happened there. Nathan Safarian taking a little bit of a detour there, getting a little bit of a touristy scenic shot there with the Willow Springs signboard.
One advantage of this track and its location is that it has wide, expansive runoff areas, so it's actually quite a safe circuit. It looks like Nathan got some help there.
Yeah, let's take a look at that again.
Yeah, wonder who it was that made contact with him. 145, Yan Cheek. Oh, okay, potentially Safarian got on the brakes a tiny bit earlier than Yan Cheek was anticipating, and that unfortunately results in the number 12 sailing off the track and now retiring from the race. Looks like Nathan's problems had continued.
Yeah, it looked like something else happened here.
Yeah, he cut out the hill section of the track. I think that might have... Oh! Okay. Well, oops. I've learned something about Willow Springs.
I think Nathan Safarian may have done as well, but certainly already we're seeing incidents here. I have to wonder exactly how that was going to play out. But despite the lead earlier, Kevin Adrian there flirting with the limits. Indeed, a couple of drivers further back as well. I have a feeling that may have been Otavio Suarez or indeed Tuca Valkyasuo there. Really using all of the service, and indeed a little bit beyond there is right ahead of him. Jeremy Childers now looking to have a battle here with Philip Falcon.
A little bit wide on the exit of turn 2, but if you get the exit right, you can maintain it. Oi! Otavio Suarez putting his car into a gap that was steadily narrowing. I think very wisely backing out of that one.
Indeed, he's got Jan Janchik there right behind him as well, as is Brian Sabelski. Certainly these three drivers, the only ones to gain any momentum so far. Nathan Safarian currently there in the pits with a meatball flag. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not the meal you want to have. But interestingly, though, we've seen Otario Suarez now try a couple of different techniques here. But realistically, I think Jan Janchik's going to apply all sorts of pressure here. He's keen to find his way forward. He's already called it a throwaway. But despite that, he's making moves here, maybe going a little bit too ambitious. I have a feeling you may need to dial it back a little bit here if he wants to survive the race.
Oh, there goes Suarez, though, up the inside of Tuca at the final corner. And away he goes. Very nice move. Not much chance of a cut back there from Valkyasuo. So Suarez now will try to give chase to Childers, but it looks like Jeremy's interested in following the cars ahead to get the slipstream. Kyle Diaz-Castro moves into the lead. And Kevin Adrian's been hit from behind. Oh, there's contact, and Kevin Adrian is off the circuit. Actually, I don't know if he was hit from behind. I think he might have tapped Kyle Diaz-Castro and had the bump turn him around. Or was that contact from Brent Rusnell? Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Let's try another view here.
I reckon Chopper would be a good view for that.
That's the wrong one.
Let's
one more time.
I saw enough to see that, it was contact with Kyle Diaz-Castro ahead that sent Kevin Adrian's car sideways. So apologies to Brent Rusnell. He is blameless in that incident. But that has left Diaz-Castro 1.7 seconds in the lead with 9.5 minutes still left in the race. Rich Meesters finds himself in second with Philip Falcon rounding out the top three. This is a massive points opportunity for these guys. Rusnell is falling back. Bas van der Lee's just found his way past him, and it looks like Brent's going to attack him again through the final corners, dragging Suarez and Childers with him.
Indeed, it's definitely going to be an interesting battle back here. Certainly, Otario Suarez now has managed to make it up 5 positions. One of the only drivers, I'd say, realistically, before that incident just now to gain some positions. But indeed, things are starting to shake up. Kevin Adrian, though, is just at the back of that, albeit he's a bit too far back. He's about 1.6 seconds behind the pack.
Yeah, but can he make a recovery there? I think with how close everyone is ahead, they stand a chance of slowing each other up through the slower sections of the track, which could allow Kevin Adrian to catch back up. But he's going to have to nail every single turn-in point, apex, and exit, which is incredibly important anyway around Willow Springs. Rusnell still trying to keep Suarez behind. Van der Lee, Childers, Janchik, Valkyasuo, and Zabelski are all in line behind and looking to take advantage. That was a bit more curb than most for Bas van der Lee, but he's managing to maintain some good pace here.
Indeed, certainly he's currently down 1 position, so it's definitely not going quite to plan, but he is very much dialed in. He's with the pack, and I have a feeling we could see a little bit more here at the number 4.
Right, here's where you pick up the slipstream on the way into the final corner. The cars ahead also have slipstream from the cars ahead of them, so you're not gaining quite as much as you'd ideally like to. It's a completely flat-out run here. It's a very gentle bend to bring you around to the final corner here, but it's so hard to nail the apex and the exit. It's such a wide open space that the circuit occupies, as you said, up towards the top of the show, Zippy. There's no real reference points here as Suarez makes the move on Brent Rusnell.
Yeah, definitely a really clean move as well. Indeed, he's managed to get it done, or has he? Looks like Brent Russell now looking to try and fight back. Bas van der Lee getting into the mix as well. Jeremy Childers right behind as well. Indeed, we're going to use Jeremy Childers here as the camera car. We're going to see Bas try and find his way forward. Look at that fantastic license plate there on Bas van der Lee, the Pit Road Productions logo in place of the Global MX5 Mastery course. Indeed, you see further up Otario Suarez actually rocking the Brazilian flag as well, despite showing up as Canadian here on our broadcasting software. But Rich Meesters, though, this will be actually his best result yet in the Almeida Academy. He's currently here in P2. Kyle Diaz-Castro looking for an outright win here today at Willow Springs.
Yes, but it seems that Diaz-Castro is... that was a bit sideways for Rich. Diaz-Castro's lead has diminished slightly. It's now 1.2 seconds or thereabouts. So there is a chance that Meesters and Falcon can work together to catch back up to him. Still got 6.5 minutes left in the race, and my timing's telling me that's going to be 4 laps to go when Kyle crosses the line next. So there is time for Rich and Philip to do this.
Indeed, I have a feeling Philip Falcon is playing it for the long game as well. He's aware that he's got Brent Russell right behind him, and indeed, I don't think he's going to try and make a pass here on Mises. I think he's much more interested in trying to put Mises back up behind Carl Diaz-Castro. We'll see in a minute here, and yep, he's not making a move. Mises with the defensive though, maybe communication would have been beneficial there, because now Brent Russell is very much not going to be left behind.
They've still made up some time on Diaz-Castro, though. 8/9 of a second or thereabouts is now the gap. So, and I see at the back of the field there, Kevin Adrian has brought it within 7/10 of a second of Tuca Valkyasuo. So, you know, for a time, we had the drivers at the front and back of the pack with long gaps to deal with, but both of those gaps have shrunk.
Indeed, the slipstream certainly a huge factor here. I do have to wonder, though, Kevin Adrian, his first time starting. Oh dear, that's Russell!
Oh, dearie me. I was keeping an eye on Philip Falcon and Rich Meesters. I saw Philip have a bit of a slide through this very same turn. Looks like the same thing happened to Brent Rusnell. He tried his best to recover it. Oh, fortunately, everyone was able to avoid him, and he did a little bit of sightseeing on his way up to the top of the circuit. Now he finds himself about 5.5 seconds, nearly 6 seconds behind the next car.
Indeed, I have a feeling that certainly these Miatas are starting to feel a little bit of the heat here, a little bit of the little bit of tire work. Certainly high speed, fast corners. And the track temp, honestly, not that bad for California. Only 24 degrees Celsius, ladies and gentlemen. I honestly expected to find that more in the high to mid 30s, ladies and gentlemen. But indeed, certainly, I have a feeling they're starting to feel the pressure here, as right behind, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Adrian now has managed to make his way up. I think something happened with Brian Sabowski.
Oh yeah, it did. Jabelski is up behind Kevin Adrian now. So Kevin's just been getting these free positions, and Zabelski, oh dear. Yeah, that's the dark side of the final corner at Willow Springs. You try to run it out wide so that you can turn it in for that final sort of tight apex, but it's very easy to slip the wheels off the side of the road, and there's nothing to save you from going off track from there. Well, let's see if the rest of the field can sort themselves out here. Rich Meesters and Philip Falcon still about 0.8 of a second behind Kyle Diaz-Castro, and it looks like Philip Falcon didn't get too good of an exit there from the slowest corner on this racetrack, but still not out of the woods yet is Kyle. He's got to drive the wheels off that car to keep this pursuing pack behind him. Otavio Suarez now up to 5th and looking at a top 4.
Yeah, certainly he's shown his MX-5 experience here, and indeed Willow Springs, definitely not one of the more popular tracks here in iRacing, but currently I have a feeling Otavio Suarez, I don't know if he's got the time, but he's certainly got the intention of finding his way up towards the top of the podium.
Yes, well, smooth inputs necessary here, as in his hot pursuit of Carl Diaz-Castro, Rich Meesters finding a bit of the dirt on the exit of the final corner. Now he's within 0.3 of a second across the line with 3 minutes remaining. Start of the penultimate lap here for race 1. And what a fantastic battle it has been. A long journey for Rich Meesters to make this gap up to Carl Diaz-Castro. But it's worked out for him, and he could have a run at him on the final lap, but needs to play his cards right. Falcon, Vanderlei, and Suarez will be right there to pick up the pieces if something goes wrong.
Indeed, we're going to keep an eye here on this battle for P1, ladies and gentlemen. As Mises there gets a little bit of a tank slap, where you can see the man. He's sweating, and indeed, that's going to open the door. Contact!
No. That's a 3-car incident right there. Rich Meesters falls to the back of the field, and through basically no fault of his own aside from the initial slide, he had that slide through the left-hander, and Philip Falcon, who was having some trouble himself, tried to get up the inside, and then Bas Vanderlei comes steaming in, tries to take advantage, ends up hitting Falcon into Meesters.
Yeah, have a look there from Suarez there.
Yeah, Otavio Suarez's view of the incident would have been certainly interesting.
There he is, bumps Bas.
Okay, right. So actually it was Suarez hitting Vanderlei into Falcon into Meesters. Well, that's interesting.
There you go, on board race.
All right. And there's hit 1, 2, and 3. And ultimately, Rich Meesters gets spun around. It was quite the chain reaction we just saw there. And unfortunately, Meesters has also retired from the race as a result of that. Vanderlee finds himself in P2. Falcon's still in the top 3. Suarez back to 6th here on the final lap.
Yeah, Suarez, honestly, I don't feel he even lifted or anything on that one. I do feel he could have handled that incident a bit better. And certainly, there's been a few drivers who've definitely come a cropper here. I have a feeling if there is a little bit of a mishap, certainly drivers are paying the price for it heavily. With there being such a big runoff, don't get me wrong, the car generally does emerge quite well, which is a good thing overall. But the time penalty from doing so, having that detour, is absolutely monumental.
That it is, as will be the points that Carl Diaz Castro gains from this race if he holds on through the last couple of corners here. And they're not even really corners, they're just bends here at Willow Springs. It's such a beautiful flowing end to the lap. Underneath the mountains, Carl Diaz Castro exits the final corner and is going to take the checkered flag here. First win of the day, going to our Split 1 championship leader and club class leader for that matter. You'll be quite happy with that.
They're going again, bud.
Actually, they're going again?
Yeah, too
Seriously?
Close. Yeah, too close, buddy. We're going one more.
Oh, well, okay. At least it was it wasn't as bad as my previous gaffes. We'll see if Carl Diaz Castro is going to be able to hold off Bas van der Leie here.
Yeah, certainly Bas. This is the best opportunity he's had for a little while. Indeed, he's just got to keep it clean. Philip Falcon behind. Certainly a driver who I would not be worried about making too much of an aggressive move. He's pretty cool, calm, and collected. But Bas van der Leie there, getting a little bit of a run here. And Carl Diaz Castro, I think Carl was slightly offline there. And Bas, he's got more momentum. Is he going to be able to indeed cash in on that right now? With Carl Diaz Castro, a little bit of break there round the left-hander. Can Bas van der Leie find his way ahead of not just a Premier Class championship leader, indeed the club class championship leader? This could be a monumental opportunity here for the Dutchman.
Looking up the inside, but Diaz Castro covers him there, technically following the racing line into the second last corner. Van der Leie's going to have to try something different, and he is. He's going to try and force Diaz Castro narrow on the entry to the corner. Let's see if this works out for him. More speed at the apex, hitting the curb, trying to cut underneath. Is it going to be enough? I don't know if it is.
Smiles.
Things are really closing up here.
Gosh.
Can't see the start-finish line here at Willow Springs. Oh, there it is. And Carl Diaz Castro wins by 0.07 of a second over Bas van der Leie. Jeremy Childers taking advantage of a mistake from Philip Falcon on the final lap. And ending up falling to 4th. Oh, yep.
Oh my!
Shame you had the camera up there, Zippy, because yeah,
we can watch that again.
the drivers are ramping off that Marshall hut.
All right, let's see. I think we just managed to catch it. Let's take a look here, Reese.
All right, let's see. Yes, we've just gone into the gridding for race 2, so we won't have this cut short here. That's very good. So this is one way to celebrate a race victory. We are going to get it. He shoots. he scores.
That was fantastic.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Dear. Yeah, no, we'll give him points for that. We'll give him points. They are indeed gridding. And with the invert grid, Kevin Adrian is going to get there. But Reese, slam through these results, sir. Slam through these results.
Yes, indeed. First results of the day. Diaz Castro, 0.064 from Bas van der Leie, with Jeremy Childers rounding out the top 3. Then Philip Falcon, Yan Cheek, Otavio Suarez, Tuka Volkiasuo, Kevin Adrian. They are your top 8. Flip them, and that is your top 8 for race 2. Jabelski finishes in 9th, and last finisher on the lead lap, Brent Rusnell, though he did have some very good pace early on. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. Same for Rich Meesters and Nathan Safarian. Whether or not Kane Halliburton will be taking to the start this time. It looks like he will. Hopefully this time he's not left standing on the grid. Adrian is going to start on pole here with Valkyasuo alongside him. Then Otavio Suarez and Yan Cheek on road 2. Philip Falcon and Jeremy Childers 5th and 6th. And then Van der Leie and Diaz Castro round out your top 8. And basically from there on back, it's where they were classified in race 1. 30 seconds remain on the grid timer before we get things going here, Zippy. This is This is going to be quite the interesting race once again.
We have our own little race here in the production booth, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it can be a little bit tight sometimes to try and get all of this information over to yourselves, but I have a feeling it's going to be an absolute belter. We're getting ready to go here live for race 2. Reese Gardner with the call.
All right, here we go. The grid timer is up, and it's time to think about the getaway from the line. Now, half an hour later here for the second race of the day. Track temperature remaining about the same. Revs rise, and it's a clean start from Kevin Adrian. No wheel spin, no smoke. You can't say that for everyone in this field. Looks like Otavio Suarez was very keen to get going, but he will fall into line. Philip Falcon falling down the order a couple of positions there as it was side by side through turn 1 between Carl Diaz Castro and Bas van der Leet. Everyone together here, and Halliburton at the back. Let's see what he can do to work his way up the field. Falcon getting a black flag off the start there. I think he might have jumped it.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to get, indeed, attention from the marshal. Ladies and gentlemen, Almeida Academy's finest is indeed back with a vengeance. Kane Halliburton already starting at the back. We'll have to see what an academy coach can do here at Willow Springs. Already he sees his next potential victims ahead of him. Are we going to see Nathan Safarian indeed finding a little bit of an education here with Kane Halliburton?
Not much of a chance to make a move here in this particular corner. You just got to try and nail the exit and pick up the slipstream. Halliburton's in no rush to get all this done. I think he's well aware of how strong the slipstream is and how he can take advantage of it. But for now, everyone's fallen into line, and things looking reasonably simple here for the meantime, but Otavio Suarez might be looking to complicate things a little here as he's harassing Tuca Valkyasuo. Kevin Adrian in front by about 0.2 of a second as Yan Cheek and Philip Falcon go off the circuit, and of course that'll be Philip Falcon coming into the pits to serve as black flag. Here comes Suarez up the inside into turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact there with Kevin Adrian on the way through. Tuca Valkyasuo stays in third, but Otavio Suarez, it's going to be contact again, and up the inside goes Valkyasuo as Kevin Adrian gets sent wide in turn 2. Yan Cheek side by side with Jeremy Childers as well for P4. Things are looking quite leery as they reach the top of the hill.
Yeah, this is the race I was looking for in race 1. Indeed, these guys have taken the gloves off, or indeed put the gloves on, depends on which way you want to sell it, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, a little bit of a wiggle there from Childers as indeed, snuck in there is Yan Cheek, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, fantastic stuff. Oh my gosh, that was close there. Carl Diaz Castro, a little bit of a gentle squeeze there on the back of Jeremy Childers.
Yes, it's maybe a bit of a speed gap at some points in these corners. Brent Rusnell with a problem, and he's going to tow back to pit lane. Wonder what happened to him. Running wide here, and yeah, it looks like he might have just called it a day from there for race 2. Not happy with the car or how things are going for him. So Otavio Suarez then moves to the front of the field, but Tuca Valkyasuo and Kevin Adrian are right behind him and looking to take advantage. There's the start-finish line here at Willow Springs. Not the easiest to spot from those wide camera angles. No big moves at the front into turn 1, but for third, man, Yan Cheek had a red-hot go at Kevin Adrian. It didn't quite work out for him. He's starting to slip back now, and he's going to get swallowed up potentially by Carl Diaz Castro and Jeremy Childers.
Well, indeed, there's 2 of them there who are going to want to try and take over P4, ladies and gentlemen, but one of the things I have noticed, a couple of these drivers here. Oh, where's he going?
Off the track, evidently.
Fair. And the smart ass answer goes to Reese Gardner.
Well, there's been a big off for Yan Cheek.
What the hell was that?
What on earth happened there? I saw him going off the circuit. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but he lost the car, and then for some reason, I don't know, it looked like he might have tried to slow it up, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure what went on there for Jan. That has resulted in big damage for Bas van der Leet.
It's so much it broke the broadcast. Hang on.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's take a look from here.
So, yeah, a bit of an off there, and he definitely steered towards the hill. I don't know what to make of that. I'm not going to say anything. But, yeah,
Wow.
not entirely sure what went on there.
Yeah, that's one I'm definitely looking forward to the incident review, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, of all the things I would expect to see at a racetrack, having a Miata fly up an overall wall is not one of them. I do have a feeling that maybe there could be a teaching moment there, but certainly mind blown. And we got Double Apex Aiming in the chat there. What a Muppet move is how he described it. I have a feeling
to be fair to
Yanchik.
to give Yanchik the benefit of the doubt, potentially he may have had a hardware issue. Potentially his monitor may have failed or something to that effect. But, you know, we want to try and cover all possibilities there. Meanwhile, we still have a race going on. Tuukka Valkeaisuo in second with Kevin Adrian trying his best here to stay in touch. Race 1 winner Carl Diaz-Castro not too far behind. There's a bit of a gulf that's formed now of 5 seconds or so between these guys and the battle for fifth. There's a little bit of touch there from Kevin Adrian. He's keen to get that bump draft going, but when you're in the middle of a fast corner, it's difficult to pull it off.
Indeed, and certainly, I think one of the things that can be disorientating as a race car driver is when you're certainly close enough behind another car, you can lose any kind of reference points. Already here at Willow Springs, the reference points are pretty much non-existent at this point. Like, what are you looking for? Certainly, we have to ask Connor Bell when we speak to him, potentially during the warm-up. But I think this is actually quite a very, very challenging track. And in terms of a teaching point of view, I'm looking forward to finding out. Look at the huge run, though, from Kevin Adrian. Absolute fantastic move there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Gets up the inside of Tuukka on the way into turn 2. Looks like we've had another driver join pit lane from that, Nathan Safarian, who unfortunately didn't get the best of results in race 1. Something's happened to him here in this fight. Oh, that looked like contact with Halliburton there. And well, at high speeds, when there's a tiny bit of a side-to-side touch, it can often balloon into something spectacular.
Yeah, certainly we've got Jonathan Hobson in the chat as well saying that's bad in regards to the Yanchik incident. So certainly interesting. On Swelleo's channel, not carbs, that's a hell of a shortcut. Fair. I would agree with that.
Yes. Unfortunately, the wall does stop it from being a full-on shortcut. Halliburton then, on his way into 7th spot, keeps Rich Meesters behind him. And Meesters has picked up a little bit of damage. Yeah, I think that might have been from the incident at the top of the hill. I recall that Meesters was in and around that area when the big crash happened, so I'm not entirely sure. Otavio Suarez continues to hold on for the lead here. My timing is telling me 5 laps to go, but as I found out at the end of race 1, my timing software often lies, so don't take my word for it.
Indeed, it was, in your defense, Reese, it was incredibly close. It was down to about 1 second or 2 seconds. Indeed, they did send them round again. But right now, Carl Diaz-Castro is yet again in a strong points-paying position, ladies and gentlemen. He's in P4 in this pack. It is indeed a 4-car pack for the lead. A lot can happen, though, in the last 7 minutes of this race.
Defensive from Tuukka Valkeaisuo. But the great thing about Willow Springs is the way the track flows. You can take a defensive line and still be able to run a quick line through the following corners up at the top of the hill here. Such an old school circuit. The layout this track follows has not changed one iota since this place opened more than 70 years ago. And really, apart from the addition of walls and curbs, it's basically the same track that it's always been, and that shows in the surroundings as well. Plenty of battles have been run through this final corner, and here in the Miatas, it's going to continue between Kevin Adrian and Otavio Suarez. Another little dip of the wheels into the runoff as they come across the line to start lap number 7. Super close between our top 4, but you really get a sense of how spread out the field is now. They are in groups, but there's a big gulf of time between Diaz-Castro and Zabelski.
Indeed, it's about 7 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Zabelski, though, he's got the likes of Kane Halliburton and indeed Rich Meesters with him as well. This could be a golden opportunity for a couple of these drivers. Certainly, if Halliburton can continue with the pace he's got, he could potentially draw him up to the back of the pack. But I have a feeling with that much of a gap, even Halliburton won't be able to close the distance.
Battle for the lead has heated up. Just as we cut away from the front, we saw Kevin Adrian take the lead, and Otavio Suarez now is playing the defensive game, trying to keep Tuca and Kyle behind. So let's see how this one works out. Bumper to bumper between Valkyasuo and Diaz Castro. Lots of curb there for Suarez as he finds his way through these flat-out turns on the way to the last corners. Slipstream will kick in once again. And Otavio is making up big ground on Kevin Adrian. Is it going to be enough to make a move? Trying to pick a line. This is really intense. I'm loving this. Diaz Castro is going to go off the circuit there in the background, but will he stay in slipstream range? Will Otavio Suarez be able to go for the move here? Will Tuca Valkyasuo make it 3 wide? He's going to pick the slipstream of Otavio Suarez to try and get past Kevin Adrian himself. And Kevin leaves just enough room on the inside there, but a slight slide for Tuca. Got a bit crossed up on the curb as well, but he's managed to hold on to it. Diaz Castro's managed to hold on to it himself. So these guys are still well and truly together. What a fight.
Indeed, honestly, turn one just makes me think of something like a little Jack Russell or something. It's trying to get around the corner. Indeed, it's literally flailing its paws trying to find grip here. It's certainly, look at the exit speed there from Valkyasuo. Indeed, Carl Diaz Castro definitely a little bit hotter there into that left-hander.
Righto. Let's see the exit there, and let's take a look at the fight further back. Brian Jabelski leading this battle for 5th, but Kane Halliburton has been steadily working his way up the field. See the way he turns it. He's barely actually turning left at all. He was steering that car on the brakes and throttle through that corner. This is just a fantastic demonstration of how to drive these cars and get great pace out of it too. Bump drafting. Yep. Not interested in making his way past Jabelski at this stage. Wants to try and make up some time to the leaders, I think, but they are a long way ahead now. Looks like a gulf of about 7 seconds or so between our front pack and those drivers behind. Yeah, you see them just popping into the background there. Move for Kevin Adrian. Almost. There's a big look at Otavio Suarez into turn 1, but nothing happening for now. Is turn 2 going to be where it happens? This is where Adrian first took the lead a few laps ago, but he stays behind this time.
Yeah, certainly, honestly, it's hard to think where would be the best place to make the strategic pass. Certainly, at some tracks, for example, VIR or indeed Summit Point, you can certainly say that, okay, if you get past at this corner, you can defend for the rest of the lap. But certainly at Willow Springs here, I'm honestly not sure, because realistically, it could go either way there in the closing stages of this circuit. Oh my word!
Well, now it's Tuca Valkyasuo's turn to hit the berms, and he's completely lost touch with the top 3 now. Far from ideal for the flying Finn, but still manages to keep it on track. He was just a little bit deep into turn 3. It's a mistake that we've seen many drivers make before, and it looks like there might have been a slight bit of contact between himself and Diaz Castro that actually sent him off the track there. So, yeah, no fault of anyone in particular, but sometimes that's just how it works out. We're going to have another eye on it here. So there's the mistake, and Diaz Castro tries to sweep through, and there was a slight bit of contact there. Diaz Castro probably thought he was clear, but he was not. Regardless, I think that would be classified as a racing incident. Meanwhile, looks like this is going to be the start of the penultimate lap, as Kevin Adrian still battles with Otavio Suarez for the race victory. Just 0.2 of a second in it. Neither of these guys were the fastest on track last lap, though. That honor belonged to Diaz Castro, but Suarez holds the overall fastest lap of the race.
Indeed, certainly, and it's incredibly close exactly as well, the pace as well. Certainly the top 4, ladies and gentlemen, all within 0.2 of a second. That was a little bit of a detour there by Suarez. Carl Diaz Castro checks up. Indeed, Kevin Adrian says, thank you very much. I'll take that, and moves his way into P1.
Now, Otavio Suarez has made that mistake a few times at turn 3. We were even on board with the chasing drivers, I think, one of the last times he did it. Turn 3, incredibly hard to nail. It's uphill, so you want to try and press it as much as you can. The car's going to be driven into the road effectively by itself, but you push things too hard and you go for a mega slide. and the berm is there to collect you. Suarez has recovered very quickly, though. Fortunate, the nature of the circuit, the way the lap flows. He's able to get right back onto the back of Kevin Adrian and try and send him narrow through the last corner. But Diaz Castro says, no thank you. I am going to have a go at all of this myself. And Suarez dips a wheel off. White flag is out. And we're getting ready for the start of the final lap. And Octavio Suarez retake the lead, bump from behind for Kevin Adrian. Carl Diaz Castro helping him out there, outside line into turn 1. And it looks like Suarez is getting squeezed a little bit. Diaz Castro finds his way past out of the first corner.
Yeah, indeed. Suarez dipping a wheel in the sand very briefly, and fine. Carl Diaz Castro is pretty much right smack bang in where he wants to be. Meanwhile, talk about Caseo, he has managed to stay with this pack. He is within drafting range. Not quite close enough to be a camera car, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly he's applying all sorts of pressure here. He wants to try and get himself up into the mix. Should these guys come into contact, he's perfectly positioned to find his way up onto the podium. As Octavio Suarez now looking to try and take over P2. Kevin Adrian here, potentially an opportunity to run away.
Yeah, he'll be hoping that he does. His lead sits at about 0.6 of a second right now, and he's managed to nail the last sort of proper corner, you could say, before the last turn. Might be far enough ahead that he can defend this, so it'll definitely be a battle for second. Will it be a battle for the win in the end between Adrian, Diaz Castro, and Suarez? Tuca Valquiaswo could take advantage if anything happens here through the last couple of turns. See them get closer and closer. Suarez gets up the inside of Diaz Castro at the final corner, but he's going to get squeezed tight on the exit. That could result in a drag race to the line for second place. Kevin Adrian is going to take the win ahead of these guys, but Diaz Castro and Suarez crossing the line almost side by side.
Suarez got it.
0.004 of a second.
That was close. I believe that's maybe, is that Kevin Adrian's first win as well?
I think it might be. A fantastic drive there from Kevin Adrian. Yeah, boy! Let's go!
You see, that is the appropriate time to yeet the car.
Yes, indeed it is. And what a yeet it is. Oh. Suarez gets hit back by the, I don't know, is it a water tank or a fuel tank or something? I'm not entirely sure. But, wow, that was a fantastic finish. And some nice battles through that race. Philip Falcon would certainly have been hoping for better from this one. He's going to be classified 9th in the end and the last finisher. But unfortunately, it was a difficult run for the number 29. He will come across the line to end things off here. And that will give us our results. Kevin Adrian winning race 2 ahead of Octavio Suarez and Carl Diaz Castro, with Tuca Valquiaswo and Rich Meesters rounding out your top 5. Brian Jabelski, Jeremy Childers, and Philip Falcon were the last finishes there. Kane Halliburton, of course, disqualifying himself to start further towards the back, and so that promotes Falcon to 8th spot. Nathan Safarian, Yan Yan Cheek, Bath Vanderlee, and Brent Rosnell all unfortunately retiring from the second race, and I don't think we're going to be seeing any more of Brent Rosnell. He disconnected from the server after he pulled off to escape. So, we're in the warm-up session now, and Zippy, I understand that gives you a chance to talk to Connor Bell.
Well, certainly it is always a pleasure to catch up with one of the Academy coaches. Connor Bell making his way here into the broadcasting booth. Now, Connor, you did say it would be a good track, certainly draft heavy. We are finding there's definitely been a few spicy incidents indeed, but yourself here, like, what would be your strategy? Because honestly, I'm really not sure how would be the best approach to racing this particular circuit.
Yeah, I think you just want to be in the lead pack at the end of the race, you know, sort of just survive, I think is one of the key things. You know, there's not a lot of braking zones on this track, so naturally it's going to be very hard to catch people if you're not in the draft. And so yeah, just having a decent quali, I think in the top 10, staying with that front pack is really the key here. And I think what we did see, at least in these first 2 races, is while there was a couple of incidents, people were doing a really good job working together. There was a little bit of bump drafting here and there. You know, people had opportunities to go for a pass, but it maybe wasn't the best decision because they want to stay as close as possible to the group in front. So we worked a lot on that in yesterday's pit parties, and it looks like people are using some of those skills.
Well, certainly I actually got a message from Kevin Adrian yesterday talking about risk management, about how that is something you've been teaching in the academy. Could you expand on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, we sort of have been going over a lot of different things racecraft-wise. We had a workshop probably a month ago, just talking about how to manage our mental bandwidth when we're racing other cars, and that was certainly something foundational for the things we've been talking about in the past couple of weeks, which have been risk versus reward. We've been talking about that in the pit parties. Is it the right time to go for a move? Is it going to benefit you at the end of the race? And we're really just trying to look at these races with the bigger picture in mind, right? I think everyone's goal is just to finish as high as possible in the final finishing order, so it doesn't really matter what happens halfway through the race.
Indeed, certainly sometimes we'll see where a driver will be particularly aggressive straight out the box. Probably me. I'm keen to make some moves here at the race start. But Connor, we do know that you're going to be driving in real life at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in it's a couple of weeks now. It's really starting to hit me that this is actually coming so soon. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? And certainly any Academy members or indeed any fans at home want to come and say hi. Where are you going to be and what are you going to be driving?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's coming up super quick. But yeah, we're going to be at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on the Victoria Day weekend in the NASCAR Canada Series. So it should be a good show. We've got a couple practice sessions on Friday and Saturday, and then qualifying Saturday night, and the big race on Sunday. So the season opener, the goal is nothing less than a win. So we'll try and pull it off.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a damn good reason he is an Academy coach. Certainly, he's got skills. We'll give him that. We will say certainly recognise Connor Bell has got some skills, and certainly looking forward to meeting you over there. I'm going to be up there as well in my Pit Road Productions gear. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get too carried away, let's have a little bit of a break here from Swelio as well. And indeed, a huge thanks to Connor Bell for popping into the booth.
Now he's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar, Swelio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Swelio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Wait a race, buddy, wait a race.
You're watching Pit Road Productions and Swelio Almeida's channel. Of course, the Almeida Racing Academy, the best coaching business in the game. These are all students of the Academy starting on this grid today, and their skill level has absolutely skyrocketed thanks to their memberships of the Academy. Kevin Adrian starts on pole position ahead of Otavio Suarez for the final 20-minute race of the day here at Willow Springs. Carl Diaz-Castro and Tuca Valchiasuo third and fourth. They have skipped the rest of the grid times, so we have to go right now. It is a very good start once again from our front runners. It was Adrian, Suarez, Diaz-Castro, Valchiasuo, Meester, Zabelski, Childers, Falcon, Halliburton, Safarian, your top 10. And into and out of turn one, it looks like Childers and Halliburton both making up a position each. That demotes Brian Jabelski and Philip Falcon. Yan Cheek making moves as well back into the top 10. And let's see how further forward he can get himself. But our top two have broken away from the rest of the field right now. Adrian and Suarez absolutely running away with it here on the first half of the first lap, but I'm sure that's going to change very shortly.
Yeah, let's see what Nathan Safari can do here. He's definitely He isn't the most potent driver in this field of cars, but fair play to him. He made it into the top split, and he's here, he's trying, and he's certainly up against a huge collection of talented drivers. A lot of these drivers as well are repeat Academy top split members, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the only way to get into top split is purely on outright pace alone, and indeed, certainly we've seen a few people go into top split and then drop back the next season. Jeremy Childers being one of them, but right now, Kevin Adrian, he's not happy with one. He's looking to try and make 2 wins here today at Willow Springs.
Yeah, can he do it is the question. He's got Otavio Suarez behind him, who's quickly proven himself to be one of the clear front runners in this field. Recall back at the first round of this season, there was no stopping him at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and let's see if anything can stop him here at Willow Springs on the literal opposite side of the United States in California. Suarez driving for Team CFPM. Very potent Brazilian-based team that's largely active in these Mazda MX-5s. He's giving Kevin Adrian the race of his life. Carl Diaz-Castro and Tuca Valchiasso are still fighting over P3 for the moment. But Jeremy Childers making up another spot now. He is on a march into the top 5 and looking to make Tuca his next target.
Attaboy, certainly good man, Jeremy Childers, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, very supportive of Pit Road Productions as well, as is actually quite a few of the drivers here in this field. As that's a little bit more curb there for Kevin Adrian as well, as they make their way around the right-hander up and over the hill. But indeed, looking like Rich Meesters now. He's very much there in contention. He's got Brian Sabowski behind. Indeed, Kane Halliburton, very much so. The whole pack is pretty much together, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the whole pack is together indeed. All the nose to tail is Halliburton there, having a little bit of a scenic work, a beautiful curve hop, but indeed take a little bit of a detour there as he makes his way around the circuit.
Indeed, Halliburton will be putting a steady march on himself. But as far as Morse code goes, if we're going to be throwing military references out there, Otavio Suarez is typing a message into Kevin Adrian's rear bumper all the way through that second last corner. And he gets the run out of the final turn. Valchiasso running slightly wide there on his way out of the last corner, and he's going to give up the spot there to Childers, up into 4th place for Jeremy. Let's see how many further positions he can make up, as our leaders are all fully together. See that gap that Adrian and Suarez had? It's completely vanished by the end of lap 2.
But not only that, Jeremy Childers actually holding the fastest lap right now as well. Indeed, they are lapping about 7/10 of a second quicker than the lead pack. Don't get me wrong, the draft is going to be doing a lot of that, but Carl Diaz-Castro now is going to find himself under some pressure here from Childers. But indeed, Kevin Adrian and Otavio Suarez, you see earlier on, Otavio was trying to give Adrian a little bit of a push along, try and break the draft from the rest of the pack, and you just can't do it, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to need a little bit more than just outright pace.
Bit of a wider exit there for Suarez, as we're on board with Diaz-Castro, trying to keep Jeremy Childers behind him. Oh, issue for Rich Meesters, and oh dear, that is quite far off the circuit there. He's going to fall to the very back of the field, and right at the start of one of the longest flat-out sections. What on earth happened to Rich? Bit wide on the way out of the right-hander, and he took the scenic route across the sand and grass, what little of it there is around here.
I will say they're well caught, though. Well caught.
Yes, absolutely. A small point about Jeremy Childers' fastest lap there. That's faster than any of the laps set in qualifying. That would have been pole position if he'd done that lap in qualifying. So the slipstream's really working well side by side between Diaz-Castro and Suarez for second place, as Kevin Adrian has the luxury of choosing his line into the first corner. Slight contact between our second place competitors, and there's a gap that opens up that Jeremy Childers will try and slot himself into, but backs out of it because the battle is still going between Kyle and Otavio. This is fantastic racing once again. I've loved the fact that we've gone with MX-5s for this season of the Almeida League. Obviously, the couple of seasons of the Spec Racer 4 that we saw were great, but this is fantastic as well. Diaz-Castro recovers from that mistake, but he has got an angry pack of cars behind wanting to take advantage.
And ladies and gentlemen, look who is starting to make his way up through the field. He's up 3 positions as well, both himself, Jeremy Childers and Jan Janchik. Joint hard chargers. Childers would get the honours though, being the highest placed car right now. 3rd place in the club class, and indeed 4th place overall. But Kane Halliburton now looking to try and show why he is indeed an academy coach. This driver just short of 8,000 iRating, ladies and gentlemen. It's a damn good reason he's at where he's at, and certainly road racing is one of the reasons.
Absolutely. Willow Springs, one of the first epicenters for road racing in the United States. It was one of a raft of purpose-built racetracks that came up in the 1950s that are still in use today, including Watkins Glen, Road America, and VIR. Move for the lead for Otavio Suarez, and that's going to be a clear move into turn one before they even get to the braking point. Kevin Adrian lets him go, but Kevin is well aware that he can fight back easily with how strong the slipstream is.
Not only that, it's like Connor was saying just a few moments ago, it's not about where you are in the middle of the race, it's about where you are at the end of the race. And Kevin Adrian, he's no slouch, he'll be aware of that, and he just realistically, if he can stay here in P2, it doesn't matter if Otavio leads every single lap. There's no bonus points for that. He will be able to cash in at the end potentially if he can find his way past the Brazilian driver driving the number 44.
Let's see the exit here. No, that's slightly wide for Suarez. He's been pushing hard on the exit of the corner at the top of the hill. It's worked out for him so far, but he'll want to avoid making the same mistake we saw Rich Meesters make earlier. That would certainly put him out of contention. Tell you what, the field is a lot closer than it was about this time last race. Our top 7 covered by less than 2 seconds here, with Brian Zabelski potentially on course for a good finish here. Big move for the lead from Carl Diaz Castro. Oh, he didn't quite make it into the lead, but he's gotten past Kevin Adrian. And Jeremy Childers is the big beneficiary of it all. He gets a massive draft coming out of the final corner, and it's a triple bump draft here. It looks like our top 4 are going to be neck and neck on the way into turn 1. Move to the inside for car 107, and Carl Diaz Castro takes it.
Yeah, that is exactly a good demonstration here of how crucial the draft can be. Kane Halliburton as well. He's made his way up into P5, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Childers there on the inside. And honestly, I would love to see someone like Mike Sargent here, because I do miss the days, albeit from an admin point of view, it would have been absolute chaos. But certainly, every lap you held off an academy coach, you got bonus points. And Mike Sargent was notoriously famous for it, ladies and gentlemen. Here at Willow Springs, I have a feeling would be a good day to cash in on such things. Kane Halliburton with a draft, not being able to move his way through the field as quickly as some other circuits here. But right now, you can see here on the inside, Jeremy Childers there, pretty much really getting into the mix there, and right behind him, Talk about Caseo trying to apply a bit of pressure to the coach as well.
All right, into the end of the lap once more here on lap 6 of God knows how many it's going to be here in this 20-minute race. 11.5 remaining on the clock, and look at the move here. It looks like Otavio Suarez certainly not afraid to get his nose in the rear end of the car in front. Oh, it's very close behind as well. Looks like a move to the inside for Childers. Oh, he tried to get it done, but it looks like round the outside of him, Kane Halliburton's going to get up to P4. A fantastic battle has emerged here, and we have something like 6 or 7 cars involved.
Indeed, and it's not really that far back to Yan Yanchik there. He's about a second behind his pack as well. Indeed, these guys keep duking it out. You will find it becomes a even bigger battle. We've taken up about 11 of the 12 cars that took to the grid, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Meester, sadly, not quite with the pack here after that little bit of an incident earlier on. But indeed, there is a second pack emerging, ladies and gentlemen. Yan Yanchik is leading that with Philip Falcon, Nathan Svarian, and Bas van der Lee a little bit out of place of where he'd want to be. He's up one position, but indeed, passing here at Willow Springs has proven to be quite a challenge despite the draft.
Yes, van der Lee has struggled to make his way forward. Carl Diaz Castro has stayed at the front pretty much all day thus far. Has a win on the cards from race 1 and finished 3rd in race 2. And if he ends up winning this one, he'll be our clear round winner. Otavio Suarez, a 6th and a 2nd thus far. Kevin Adrian running in 3rd, has an 8th and a win to his name thus far. Kane Halliburton, no, has worked his way up to the back of these guys, our main protagonists at the front of the field. It's taken a bit for us to see Kane here, but he's finally done it, and look at the run that he has into the final corner. Has to back out very early to avoid running into the back of Kevin Adrian. But now we will see a little bit more aggression come up. Otavio Suarez bump drafting Carl Diaz Castro. Are any of these guys going to pull out and try and do a move? Looks like Kevin Adrian's going to try it.
Indeed, incredibly close. Here's Halliburton there looking to try and make a move there onto the inside of Suarez. Not able to get it done. Indeed, honestly, I have a feeling that this is, of all the races we've seen so far, this is probably the biggest one where you really need to find yourself a friend in the grid. And certainly Kevin Adrian there working quite well with a couple of these drivers. But indeed, it really could go down to anything happen. Certainly last lap, any kind of truce that I've ever had, it's pretty much out the window at that point. Indeed, pick your poison carefully, ladies and gentlemen, because indeed the results could be absolutely catastrophic.
It was very close to contact between Diaz Castro and Adrian there, but they sort themselves out. And Suarez forced narrow on the exit of these corners. Halliburton backs out. Doesn't want to try side by side through here. If they did that, they would end up losing so much momentum they probably wouldn't be able to catch back up. Kevin Adrian, I think, had a slight mistake on the exit there, potentially a micro slide that we didn't quite catch. He's lost momentum, and it seems that Halliburton's going to try and bump draft Suarez past Adrian here, and it ends up working out, but just enough room to the inside for Halliburton to keep the place there. Suarez having to be very careful of the 0.96 behind. 6 laps to go by my timing, and that looks like that might be Jančík that's run off there out of the final turn. Nathan Safarian will get back into 9th place as a result, and Bas van der Lee's going to try and follow him through. It ends up working.
Indeed, it looks like we now got a 12-car race, indeed an 11-car race for lead. Rich Meese is currently not there with that pack, ladies and gentlemen. But Bas van der Lee, we know he's got form. We hope to see a little bit more out of him in the results side here at Willow Springs. But indeed, it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're about just over halfway through this race at this point, about 7.5 minutes left to go. Nathan Safarian, it's going to be a good set of results for him if he can keep the car in check where he's at. But honestly, it's so hard to make a pass here. I think in some ways you do have to be a little bit brave, a little bit courageous on your opportunities here.
Yeah, that you do. Passing opportunities don't present themselves easily in this part of the circuit anyway. And if you're in a car that doesn't respond as well in the slipstream, it can be very difficult to make moves. Childers, one of 4 cars in this field to still occupy the same position they started in. Suarez up in 2nd, Jabelski, Childers and Falcons 6th, 7th and 8th. It looks like Jančík is also in the same spot he started in as well. So I'll very quickly correct myself on that. It's close at the front. Ooh. And that's Halliburton backing off into the final corner. Kevin Adrian almost collecting him, but managing to stay out of the weeds there.
This is intense. This is so intense.
Yeah, I find every time I end a sentence here, I'm just keeping my eyes peeled on all of this, looking for the next big incident to happen or massive move. You know, it's really high speed, high stakes stuff here. Usually we see these cars racing at tracks where that really shows off the speed of the MX-5 through the slow stuff, and it's all technical, mechanical grip stuff. But here at Willow Springs, it is high speed all the way around.
Yeah, definitely, and I think myself, I do prefer the more technical tracks. Certainly for the Miata, it does make for a... I think that's where its stronger point would be. Certainly on the top speed level, it is... well, it's not got a lot. Let's take a look here at the top speed. We're going to get down this back straightaway here with Kane Halliburton.
Getting over the crest of the hill there, and the track flattens out, snaking to the left and then to the right to bring you into the penultimate corner. And Halliburton's picked up a mammoth slipstream there. He's going to make life difficult for Diaz Castro and Suarez, who are bump drafting each other on the inside. Contact between the leaders. Suarez gets sent off. Diaz Castro stays on the track, but that was far from ideal there. Suarez attempting to get the bump going through the final couple of corners, and ultimately that's why you don't bump draft through a turn.
Indeed, I have a feeling that's gone on really big. Kyle Diaz Castro was lucky to go away with that. Kevin Adrian as well, you see him skirting off there through the ring. Let's take a look here from Kevin Adrian's point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. I was hoping you would do that, because Kevin Adrian, it happened right in front of him, and he actually glanced off Suarez on the way through there. I think a rear bumper cam from Suarez's point of view would provide an equally exciting angle. Oh, thank you very much, Zippy. And
that was too much. I nearly had a mess there. Oh my gosh, I wasn't ready for that. Oh, breathe. I'm good. I'm good. We're all right. Wow.
Yep. In the lead now for Kane Halliburton, Otavio Suarez has been sent back to 11th spot, and he is miles behind everyone else now. 4 seconds behind Yan Cheek, who's at the back of this pack, just behind Halliburton. It looks like Kane's going to try and run away with this. Yan Cheek trying his best to elevate himself up a couple more positions. Oh, looks like something's going on up ahead there. Childers, Philip Falcon, Carl Diaz-Castro is falling a couple of spots there. And side by side there for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Yeah, it looks like now it's a battle for who's going to finish 2nd on the road.
Yeah, indeed. Kane Halliburton, don't get me wrong, he's an academy coach, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be at the front of that pack. But I don't know, even Halliburton, can he break the draft? Certainly, we almost need 2 sets of data for a venue like this, because certainly there is a lap with no draft and a lap with draft, and those numbers will be vastly different. Last lap there by Halliburton at 128.25. Indeed, Kevin Adrian on 129 flat, one of the slower laps actually on that last run round. But don't get me wrong, a lot can happen. Childers now managed to find his way up into 3rd place. Is he going to work together with the Canadian ahead of him, or indeed with the Finn right behind him, and try and find his way catching up there to Halliburton, who's pulled away another 0.2 of a second since the start of this lap?
Righto. 3 minutes to go, and Philip Falcon wide at the top of the hill lets Bas van der Leij through, with Brian Jabelski now looking to try and take advantage here. That's a nice move, cutting back underneath, or attempting to at least. He'll pick up the slipstream, and we'll see if there's any move here into the final corner. It's a difficult position to be in, because yes, you can go for the move into the final turn, but it's equally likely that your rival is just going to slipstream back past you into the first turn. So really, you're using this back half of the track to set yourself up for that run into turn 1.
Yeah, it's definitely, if we think of it in terms of like the long game, certainly to make a pass here, you're not planning it like at the straightaway before. I think you're planning it like half a lap, if not a full lap before, if you want to make a pass. And I think certainly that's maybe where we're seeing a little bit of variation here, as Carl Diaz-Castro find himself under pressure here from Bas van der Leij.
Yes, Carl has fallen back into P5 now. Got very used to seeing him at the very tip of the field, but he's going to have to try and fight his way a bit further forward now. Does he have the momentum to do it, though? It seems like the form drivers from the first couple of races, aside from Kevin Adrian, have had problems. I'm looking at the track temperature. It has increased to 30 Celsius, but I don't think that's quite in overheating tyres territory.
I'm honestly not sure. I think this is a high-speed circuit. They're really pushing it, and indeed, if you go a little bit too hard, you do find that the grip doesn't all of a sudden fall off. And, you know, I think these tyres are honestly under the most stress we've probably seen them this season.
Yeah, a lot of high-load corners here at Willow Springs. Well, as Kane Halliburton continues to drive away here, 1 minute remaining on the clock, and so I think this will be the start of the final lap that we're coming up to here. It is a question of who's going to finish 2nd on the road. Halliburton, of course, being a coach, not eligible for championship points, so even if he does take the win on the road, the official points for the win will not go to him. At present, they'd be going to Kevin Adrian, but we'll see if Jeremy Childers has anything to say about that.
Yeah, certainly this is definitely one of Childers' stronger routings yet, and indeed, I don't think he's yet made it onto an Academy podium. He might have done it once, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong, but got action happening further back as well. Looks like Yan Cheek and Nathan Safarian going at it as well. Talk about Caseo now going at it with Childers. Indeed, we got battles happening throughout, ladies and gentlemen, as that looks like a little bit of a nudge there potentially with Childers as well.
Yes, this is getting tight. Getting up the inside to turn 3 is Tuukka Valkeasuo, but it's very easy to run deep at this corner. Tuukka sticks to the inside. Childers catches a little bit of the sand. And now Diaz-Castro will try his best to give it a little more here on the end of the final lap. But up the front, Kane Halliburton is far and away in the lead. This has been a great drive from the back of the field for our coach. Of course, quite a few less cars for him to pass in this particular round. Of course, the Nürburgring 24-hour taking place this weekend, and so we have the faithful still showing up. Up the front, Bas van der Leek trying his best to make up further positions. It's going to be Kane Halliburton who takes victory on the road here today. But Jeremy Childers is going to unofficially get the win here at Willow Springs. Oh, sorry, Kevin Adrian, my apologies. Got the white cars confused. My apologies. It's going to be a double win for Kevin Adrian, effectively, as the celebrations already begin. Hey! Yeah, that's worth a celebration like that for Kevin. Some fantastic driving from him today.
Yeah, that's definitely enough. Oh, dude, these guys kept me so good at the end. Brian Sabatsky there making his way around, and Jan. I have one, Jan. Sunny side up, please.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, there we go. A very tight third and final race today, with Halliburton winning 2.4 seconds ahead of Kevin Adrian. Tuukka Valkeasuo rounding out your top three on the road. Childers will get the points for third place in the end. Carl Diaz-Castro finishes P5 with Bas van der Leek and Philip Falcon 6th and 7th. Then it's Shabelski, Janchik and Safarian rounding out your top 10. Tavio Suarez, an unfortunate mistake, bump drafting with Diaz-Castro, putting him to the back. He will still finish ahead of Rich Meesters, the last car on the lead lap, and the last car to actually take to the start as well, because Brent Rusnell retired in race 2, and of course Braden Walker was in the wrong split, so didn't start any of the races here today. Well, that's going to round things off for the racing portion of the show. Now we're talking to our drivers. Kevin Adrian is the first to join us. Congratulations, Kevin. Fantastic day for you here at Willow Springs. You look like you were enjoying yourself out there.
Yeah, it was a fun race as well. The first one started pole, but I got into the back of Kyle in the first corner, and well, I made it back into 8th, which got me into 1st, which gave me a couple of wins. Lots of fun, but in the last race, Kane showed why he's the coach. He got past us, and I thought, I'll just hang with him. I'll hang with him, no problem. All of a sudden, 2 laps later, he's 2 seconds ahead. So I still got some to learn, that's for sure.
Yeah, keeping it in the slipstream, essential in the MX-5 at Willow Springs. It must have been challenging to try and play those high-speed, high-stakes games as if you were racing on a NASCAR oval.
Yeah, you really have to know when to go for the pass and when not to. In this league, you start to learn who's the more aggressive guys and who's going to help you more. So you have to take that all into account when you're planning what you're going to do. But towards the end of the race, I was thinking I want to be in 1st because the guys behind are going to be battling, and it worked out that in the last lap I had a bit of a cushion, so I didn't have to worry too much, which was nice.
Excellent stuff. Well, it's a big points day for you, Kevin. That's certainly going to help your stand and in the club class as well. It seems that the club class is actually the one getting the most points this season. So I bet you're looking forward to the next couple of rounds to see if you can keep that momentum going.
Yeah, definitely. It helped that this week it seemed like there were more club class guys than the pro guys, but either way, it was a good race. Lots of fun.
Yeah, pleasure to watch and a pleasure to have you in the booth with us, Kevin. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll be seeing you next time.
Yep, have a good one.
Kevin Adrian there with 2 wins on the cards here, and likely doing just about enough to take the round win from here. Daniel Zippy Salmon, I understand you have got Nathan McQueen Safarian.
Yeah, I was just looking for him on the camera, and he has indeed disappeared. But Nathan, certainly challenging conditions here today at Willow Springs. Certainly it looks like you got into some couple of battles here. What was the biggest thing you took away from this week here at this venue?
I think it's be patient. If I was patient, I would have definitely had a better result.
Well, certainly is indeed a challenging circuit. We go over to one of the ones from my homeland next week. We're heading over to Alton Park. Now, that one's definitely going to be a little bit less drafty indeed. It will still come into play, but definitely a few more corners and a few more slower speeds. How do you think you're going to do at Alton Park, and what are you going to do to prepare for next week's race?
I think I'm going to do pretty well. Alton Park's actually the first league race I've ever done, so I think I'm pretty good at it, and I think I'm just going to do the same as I did this week to prepare. First time I ever got silver. Could have gotten gold, but what am I going to do?
Well, certainly some definitely good challenging races as well. But Nathan, certainly we saw you on the driver cam earlier as well. But tell us a little bit more about your academy experience. Actually, that's the first place I bumped into you as well. Actually, we were at one of the workshops, indeed the pit parties as well. Tell us a little bit about how you've almost been getting into a little bit of a routine here with the academy.
Well, certainly I've gone into split one, and then I made it rule to just get as fast as possible. So I started asking a lot of questions, got into a coaching session with Kane, really big help. He actually showed me, I think he nudged me in the correct direction, which is how I was able to get a good qualifying time. But overall, the academy has been a wonderful place to ask questions, and overall just giving me the chance to compete with the geniuses in the split one.
Well, certainly, fair play to you. Indeed, to get to the top split is an achievement in its own right. But Nathan, before we let you go, is there anybody else you'd like to shout out for today's performance?
Let me see. I'd probably have to say Brian. He did really well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, driving the number 12 car, Nathan Safarian today here in the Lightning McQueen liveried number 12.
Excellent stuff from Nathan Safarian today, and it looks like the last driver we'll be able to have join us here today is Tuukka Valkeaso, who joins us now. Third place in the final race today, but getting the points for second, Tuukka. It's been a pretty good night for me, but obviously day for you thus far.
Or not. Tuukka?
It appears we do not have Tuukka transmitting here, so we'll bring Bas van der Lee in to round us off here. Bas, it's been quite the interesting one for you here. Second place in race one, but that was your best result of the day. It looked like it was a bit difficult to keep that momentum going when the field was that close.
Yeah, absolutely. The first race was great. Something had to happen in front of me to get there, but Carl helped me off at the end of the first race. But well, the second was a whole different story because I had a car landed on me. So yeah, that happens, and then it's tough to get that going. But that's racing.
It is, and speaking of racing, you did an awful lot of it to move yourself up from 12th to 6th in race number 3. Obviously, Willow Springs was always going to be a slipstream heavy circuit. What was your approach?
I knew that if I could stay with the pack, at least there was a chance. So especially the feature race was a little long. Tried to make passes as cleanly as possible. You know something might happen. And try to pick somebody off one by one if they make a mistake, yes or no. It took me about halfway into the race to make those positions, but we still got it.
That you did, and still coming away with a good haul of points, especially when it comes to the Premier Class. You didn't really have many other Premier Class drivers here today, so looking like that'll elevate you somewhat here in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I tried to be present. I tried to learn as much as we can. Of course, the Nürburgring 24 is this week, so a couple of our teammates are busy prepping and racing today. So we'll just try to manage to get as high up as possible, but that's always the strategy. It's just try to finish if we can. Doesn't always work, but we'll learn and we'll race and we'll see what happens.
All right, excellent stuff, Bas. Thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully we're catching up with you again next time.
Well, thanks to talk to you guys.
Bas van der Lee from the Netherlands, bringing us home here, Zippy. I'm really happy with the action that we saw today. Yes, there were a couple of big incidents, a couple of questionable ones as well, but high-stakes racing at Willow Springs, that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, definitely a challenging circuit indeed. Myself, I would have definitely struggled here. Like, the reference points on this track are very hard to find indeed. It's such a wide, such an open track, and indeed beautifully scenic as well. And certainly in the real world, I would enjoy driving it. Certainly the scenery and indeed the sheer amount of runoff is quite forgiving as well for the majority of drivers as well. But we're heading over next week to Alton Park. I've not had the pleasure of being there in real life. Indeed, I do wish I traveled and indeed lived a little bit more when I lived in the UK, ladies and gentlemen. But indeed, it's going to be an absolute belter of a circuit. Always good action there at Alton Park. But ladies and gentlemen, you have indeed been watching here on Pit Road Productions and indeed on Swallow Almeida's channel as well. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner. We're going to be back next week with myself, and indeed Richard Swindell's making a return as well as we head over to Alton Park. Thank you very much for watching. Indeed, we'll see you in a week's time.
Now he's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar, Willow Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Willow Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Wait a race, buddy. Wait a race.